a close look at the fourth finger of the left hand. Across the United States, the UK, and most of Western Europe, this precise spot is the globally recognized real estate for a wedding ring. For decades, the jewelry industry has heavily promoted a specific historical explanation for why we place rings here. Retailers claim the tradition traces back to ancient Egypt and a biological concept known as the Vena Amoris, or the vein of love. If you look at this anatomical diagram, you can see the biological claim behind the legend. The story dictates that one single blood vessel routes straight from that left ring finger directly to the human heart. This romantic narrative effectively moves massive volumes of diamonds, but medically and historically, it is entirely false. The world's most ubiquitous wedding tradition rests on a biological fiction. To understand why we actually place a band of metal on this exact finger, we have to look past the retail marketing. The earliest surviving text mentioning a connection between this finger and the heart comes from a 5th century Roman writer named Macrobius. He wrote about a nerve, not a vein, and he was simply repeating hearsay about Egyptian beliefs, rather than citing actual Egyptian medical records. As for the famous Latin phrase, Vena Amoris, you won't find it anywhere in antiquity. That term was coined by an English ecclesiastical lawyer named Henry Swinburne in a legal text published in 1686, more than 1,000 years after Macrobius. This is a medically accurate map of the circulatory system in the human hand. By the time Swinburne coined his romantic phrase, in the 17th century, physicians like William Harvey had already mapped this vascular network, proving conclusively that all fingers share common pathways back to the heart. There is no unique vein for the ring finger. Human anatomy does not mandate a left-hand preference. The real origin of this custom comes down to an institutional decision. The actual starting point for the modern left-hand default is a 16th century English religious decree. Before the Reformation, English Catholics followed a liturgical standard known as the Sarum Rite. During a marriage ceremony under this tradition, the priest placed the ring on the bride's right hand, moving it sequentially across her fingers before settling it in place. In 1549, Archbishop Thomas Cranmer compiled the first Book of Common Prayer for the newly reformed Church of England. Cranmer intentionally broke with the Catholic past by rewriting the marriage liturgy, explicitly requiring the groom to place the ring on the fourth finger of the woman's left hand. That single liturgical edit became the standard across the British Empire. Over the following centuries, British colonization and eventually 20th century Western marketing campaigns exported Cranmer's specific rule across the globe. The left-hand ring is a localized English religious rule that won the global cultural war. A massive portion of the global population completely rejects this Western convention. In Eastern Orthodox cultures, including Russia, Greece, and Ukraine, couples wear their wedding rings on the right hand. This tradition rests on a deep theological foundation. Ancient Orthodox betrothal prayers explicitly invoke the right hand as a symbol of divine strength, faithfulness, and God's blessing. For these cultures, ring placement bypasses the anatomy myths entirely to make a deliberate statement about the power of God. Jewish wedding customs take a completely different approach. During the actual ceremony, the groom places the ring on the bride's right index finger. This specific placement serves two distinct purposes. It honors Kabbalistic symbolism linking the right hand to love, and it satisfies strict legal practicality. The index finger is highly visible, ensuring the required witnesses can clearly observe the transaction. In traditional Hinduism across much of India, finger rings haven't historically been the defining marker of marriage at all. A sacred necklace called the Mangal Sutra usually serves that role. When Indian communities do incorporate rings, the right side is frequently preferred. In many regional customs, the left hand carries strong associations of impurity. Across Judaism and Hinduism, you see a consistent pattern. Legal function and cultural definitions of purity take absolute priority over Western romantic ideals. Ring placement is still an evolving language, constantly adapting to shifting social contexts. Consider the decades leading up to the 2015 marriage equality ruling in the United States. During that era, many same-sex couples intentionally wore their rings on the right hand. This was a conscious choice. It visibly broadcast a committed partnership, while intentionally distinguishing that relationship from the different sex marriages legally recognized by the state of the time. Following the Supreme Court's Obergefell decision, those couples navigated a new choice. Some moved their rings to the left hand to align with mainstream married custom, while others deliberately kept them on the right as a tribute to their specific history. This recent shift proves that deciding which hand to use is an active negotiation of identity within a society, not a static biological rule. You will often hear a practical rationalization for the left-hand rule. Because 90% of the population is right-handed, a fragile piece of jewelry sustains less wear and tear on the less active left hand. But the math reveals the flaw in that logic. Right-hand dominant societies, like Russia and Germany, have identical handedness statistics, yet they maintain their right-hand ring customs without destroying their jewelry. Physical practicality does not dictate the rule. Whether you place a ring on the left hand, the right hand, the index finger, or skip the ring entirely, the choice is never driven by medical necessity. It is a living broadcast of your history, your faith, and your identity.